Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're doing okay. And thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers that we've had on the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. You actually legit dropped that 96% unsubscribed down to 89 now. We're doing really well. So thank you everyone for that, first of all. And I'm going to give a little bit of backstory on this engagement. I've just got some... So Tuesday night, this is from Tuesday night, we dropped a fortizar. There was a big subcap brawl in HB TAC or HTAC B, and it was about us putting a fortizar on their keepstar, which if in nullsec, if you put a fortizar, you've then got a direct way of skynetting, which is sending fighters from carriers and super carriers to a keepstar to kill it. And then if something happens, like a dread bomb happens on you, you can abandon fighters and tether up instantly, so you're safe. It's the safest way to attack a keepstar. Every null block alliance does it, or every null set alliance that takes and attacks these kinds of structures does it. It's the best way to attack a keepstar. So we were doing that, and we had a fight, and I'll drop the BR for the fight. We defended it, defended the online the anchoring phase while it was anchoring, because once you drop it, it takes 15 minutes to anchor where it can be destroyed. And in that time, we had to defend it, and there was actually a really funny meme about it where we managed to. They had fighters from their keepstar attacking it from all the way over there. From like a couple, I think it was 1,500 kilometers away. So they were skynetting fighters to it. And because they were skynetting fighters, their super carriers and their carriers were untethered. So what one of our guys did was actually really funny. Towards the end, when it was about to anchor, and it was literally not long left, one of our guys warped in a recon ship with a Sino right in the middle of their supercap blob and lit a Sino. Or no, sorry, no, not lit a Sino. On our comms, because we know the enemy listens to our comms when we're in fights. Our comms, he said, all dreads undock, all dreads undock. And that's what you can see on the screen, is us undocking. And then the Sino went up, and instantly all the carriers, all the super carriers instantly pulled or abandoned fighters and tethered up instantly, which then, because they were scared of a dread bomb right on top of them, because it would have been pretty nasty, and they would have lost a lot of supers in the process. So they saved themselves, what they thought they were saving themselves, and we managed to get the fortizar anchored in that 15-minute timer. It was a bit of a meme because it was funny. We actually didn't have anything realistically to jump on it, but it was kind of a, oh my god, there's a Sino, get safe, get safe, get safe kind of situation. It was really funny, and there was quite a lot of memes about it. So fast forward. So that fortizar then takes 24 hours to anchor. And once it is anchored, you then have to put a core in it, and then it goes to an onlining phase, which is a 15-minute repair phase. And then again, you have to defend it. So Horde were pinging and pinging and pinging for big form, max form to take this fortizar down, because if it online, we would then have a structure on their grid where we could attack the keepstar directly. So they could not allow this. They could not allow the fortizar to go online. So we pinged, and we got a lot of guys. So that's exactly what this fleet is about. I will pause it for you just so you can, as I've been doing in certain bits, just to explain what's going on. So if you are new to this kind of stuff, you've got an idea of what's going on. But there's also a few little cinematic shots in there. I am going to reduce the volume of the music this time. A lot of you didn't like the volume of the music last on that other video, which I can understand, because looking back at it, it was a little bit loud. So I do apologise about that. Just getting the tweaks right is a bit finicky sometimes, but I'll get it right this time, don't you worry. But this was this engagement that happened last night, so that was the 4th of June. It happened where we formed to defend our fortizar coming online. They formed harders for it as well, and there was a big fight, and there was so much money destroyed, like ISK destroyed. I think we lost 50 billion or 52 billion. And they lost 195 billion. So, yeah, it was one hell of a fight. It was a really fun fight. The tie-dye was time dilation, which was absolutely horrendous last night. I haven't seen tie-dye that bad in a very, very long time, unfortunately. and it was not great. It felt worse than like M2. If you know what M2 fight is, I've got a video on it in my Eve folder to check out. It was a huge time brawl. But I'll get the video up now. I'll get this going now so you can have a look at it, and I'll put all relevant BRs and stuff like that below.
Bridges up, jump, jump, jump. Antimatter for now. Lorraine, cut the distance in half. Keep them inside the wall for now.
What you can see here is our fleet's jumping in to get on top of our fortizar, which is just about, I think it was 20 minutes from anchoring, and we do also have a second one that's anchoring as well. And so that is our fortizar just there anchoring. That's their keepstar up there where their fleets are going to start coming from, and this is where all their capitals came from. They do have a fleet on there at the minute, and as we formed in and started getting in position ready to get going, because we wanted to get set up and wanted to get in position for when they started warping over. And they didn't have as much as we brought initially, so there's just one fleet there, I believe it is. And then, yeah, it's just one fleet. And we started bringing our fleets in. I think we had 6 or 7 subcap fleets, or 5, 6 or 7 subcap fleets. I can't remember the number exactly. There was just a lot. And then they started bringing theirs in over time. And they didn't have to bring them right now, and I think there was still 20 minutes on the timer when we jumped in, so they will start bringing them in over time. Firstly, I'm going to apologise for the jittery movement. Unfortunately, there's not too much I can do about that. That is the tie-dye that's starting to get more and more offensive, aggressive, and as more stuff starts jumping in. So now, as they've got 6 fleets, 7 fleets in system, 7 subcap fleets in system. They haven't brought any capitals in. They've got 7 subcap fleets to start coming over. And it was at this point where they started engaging. They warped their fleets over to the side of us, to the side of the fortizar, and at this point they've positioned, I think it was 4 fleets up, 4 battle cruisers, so the command ship, the Vulture, the Ferox navies, they were all up front because that's their main brawling doctrine, and they started coming in and started taking out our ships at close range, and their fleets at the back are the long range battleship fleet. So they've got their rocks, they've got they do bring TFIs, Tempest Fleet issues in later on. They brought, what else did they have? I can't remember off the top of my head, but mainly rocks, if I remember correctly, from over that side. So what I'm going to do, because tie-dye is near enough in full, well, it is in full effect now. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. But it's not that long. It takes 3 to 4 minutes to lock a target, and then another 2 minutes to activate a gun. Just because the server, when there's this much load going on, the server slows down everything, because just so the server can stay up. Because if everything was happening at full time, at full speed, the server would crash, just because there's too much going on and the server can't take it. So the game slows everything down. So even reloading takes about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes for the command to go through. Then it probably takes 40 seconds to go through. This is where I started taking my free drugs that I got off the that you get for the event, and I'm not even joking you. It took me about 10 minutes for these to apply, to actually get plugged in. It was brutal. by this point, we'd actually been fighting for about 2 hours, and CCP themselves turned up. So I was just having a look at the ship here. So that's their Polaris frigate, and the CCP were here. You couldn't target it. I mean, you could try and kill it, but you're not going to because you can't even target it. But anyway, at this point in the fight now, we'd been fighting for a good hour or two. The fortizar was still in its onlining phase because it wasn't progressing because it was being damaged, and it has to be not damaged or not reach damage cap for 15 minutes for it to repair. So at this point, Horde has actually made the decision to pull out of the fight. They were taking huge losses. I think by this point of the fight, they were up to 150 billion ISK lost already versus our 45 at the time of this section here. So we were in the process of chasing them down and bubbling them and trying to stop them from getting away as they were aligning off to the keepstar with their prop mods on just to try and get out because they were stuck in here with us and they were losing ships faster than they were killing us. I think for every one they killed, we killed 2 of them. So it was a good fight though. I mean, it was a long fight. That was a horrible tie-dye, but it was a good fight though. There was a lot of stuff dying, a lot of stuff exploding left, right, and centre. It was really good. What you can also see is our interdictors chasing their fleets down to keep them bubbled so we can keep blapping the targets. So as they're aligning off with their prop mods on, our interdictors are keeping up with them and just constantly bubbling them and to make sure that they can't escape us shooting at them. And this was the part where they actually all warped out. They got a vast majority of their fleets out, but this is where they'd had enough. They weren't going to kill the fortizar. They weren't going to achieve the objective. They were absolutely burning in the ISK war, if that's relevant whatsoever. All we wanted to do was make sure that fortizar online, and we would have bled however much we needed to do it, because if you know what happened in the war in Delve, we threw 1 trillion ISK of ships that died just to kill a keepstar that had been anchored in NPC Delve. So throwing money at something that you need destroying is not a problem. But they got most of their fleets out here, so we didn't manage to kill all of them. But they did, however, have to leave quite a lot of their guys behind, which then ended up on the clear-up operation after, which was almost, it wasn't quite, but it was almost, it got to a free fire on everything. So, but yeah, we still had a Tempest fleet issue. We had a Tempest fleet issue, fleet bubbled and stopped them from warping down at the bottom, just below those blues there, in the bottom left or mid left of the screen. They did have a lot of rocks, a lot of vultures, a lot of Ferox Navy issues, stuff still stuck in bubbles. So this was just a case of, making them bleed as much as physically possible. And if in the top left you can see that outstanding calls, that is how long it's taking from me pressing the fire button to the gun or whatever, prop mod or whatever, actually activating. So as you can see, it's like a minute 50 from pressing a button to the guns actually firing. It's pretty crazy.
sorry guys, you should have LA, DOM, and TF locked, correct?
That was a good fight all round. Horde couldn't quite take the fortizar, and they didn't bring caps on the field, which, to be fair, we were kind of hoping they would, because it would have been nice to have a big old cap brawl. But, you know, the stars didn't align, and they didn't bring them over, so, you know, they fed subs. But, you know, it happens. We make bad decisions. They make bad decisions. Everyone make bad decisions at some points. So what I want to go over now is the actual battle reports. And because immediately after the fight, part of it was spun by Horde as naturally on their pings to the Alliance, which we'll be going over in a second. And the BRs, they added another system into the BR, which was apparently relative to this fight, which it wasn't because it was a few jumps away. So it wasn't really relevant, but it was about, I think it was a neutral group who probably have aligned by this point out of the blue. They've either aligned with us instead of Horde, or they just tagged along and started shooting Horde anyway. But they are neutral to us, and they are called out of the blue. They decided to try and kill some reinforcements along the way, and in the process, they dropped a couple of Minikawas with their Tengu fleet, which actually got doomsdayed by 2 Horde Ragnaroks and a Rock fleet, which is actually pretty funny to see. And they're committing caps elsewhere and a Rock fleet instead of actually something where there's a lot of fighting and kills to be going on. But anyway, I digress. God, I can't even get my words out nowadays. So I'm going to look at these things on the screens now.
Are you back in fleet yet? With your other account?
I know you Holdlings are going to get a bit upset I didn't include EFM in this, but it's not relevant to the actual engagement, the actual fortizar itself. It was a reinforcement fleet, which, you know, yeah, whatever. We can go into another one of those where Horde tried to attack a reinforcement fleet again in a minute. But as you can see on there, the numbers were quite slightly skewed towards us by about 200, just a bit over 200. Quick maths is not my thing. So it's just over 200 people more, which is probably about one subcap fleet. But it was actually a really fun fight. We lost 52.7 billion in ships. They lost 198 billion in ships. There was 445 killed on our side, lost on our side, sorry, and 956 lost on their side. So it was, all in all, it wasn't a very good outcome for Horde, but they took the fight. That's the important thing. They actually took the fight, which is the important thing. They didn't just stay docked and, you know, ignore us. That's the thing to take away from this. They actually did fight, which is good. I have included this in here now because this was the Rock fleet and their Ragnarok Doomsdays that they Doomsdayed. It wasn't, I mean, there's only a few ships, but I'll put them separately because they're not actually part of the Imperium. They're just neutral group, but they lost 45 billion because there's a couple of Minikawas, Tengus, and some other stuff. I think we lost a few little ships that were flying around, and they lost 14 bill. So that was in EFM, which is not actually near. It's only a few jumps away from the actual fighting, but that was again that was a gate camp on their side to stop reinforcements. And then after that fight in HB, whatever it was, and over the fortizar, it didn't get much better for Horde that night again. So there was another engagement in EFM again, where, yes, we had, 70 more people than them, but they lost 113 billion versus our 38 billion loss. So there was it was actually quite a victorious night for Imperium all round. Objectives were completed and achieved, and we won the ISK war, which is a rarity actually. We normally feed hard just to get the objective done. So yeah, it was a good night all round for us. And we can't forget this ping from Woodius in Horde. Good job, Beans. Not the outcome we wanted, but at least we tried. That seems to be a common phrase with Horde as of late. At least we tried. We knew Brawl would be bloody, and we still went for it. Hope you all had fun as much as I did. Yeah, we did have fun as usual. Thanks for joining, making the restock your hangers with everything that you use tonight. Oh, we almost forgot. Goon Pets out of the blue tried to cut our reinforcements in EFM by dropping Faxes and Tengus, and they got drive by DD from our Chad Ragnarok pilots. Yes. Yes, that total is completely off. But that is because it includes HB, which it shouldn't include HB because it's not part of that actual engagement. And if they want to start including that, we could always add that other 100-odd billionists that they lost against our 30 billion into the battle report as well. So, you know, when they start adding other systems in to try and fluff up their numbers, it doesn't look good. But yeah, it's you know, it happens. But this was us getting out. We got our Titans on field and we started jumping all our stuff out. Good fights all round. Really enjoyed tonight. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It was a bit of an finicky one to edit this because I had to speed up and slow down a lot of things because otherwise it would just been about 4 hours long, 3 hours long, the video. But take care, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. A like and a comment would be appreciative. But take care, guys, and see you next time.